Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Kimberly Douglas, and I am the chief contributor to the Substack, The Learning Landscape, where we are mapping 21st century learning. Today's podcast episode is a reading of a Substack post that was posted June 4th, 2025. The title is Inside the Gig Economy, Hubs of Learning and Professional Development. And you may be wondering, why is she reading this? We can just listen to we can read the transcripts, we can do the voice transcripts. People receive information in different ways, and it does come across different when I officially put this in the podcast format. So I just want to make this as accessible to as many people as possible. And if that means I need to do it 2 or 3 different ways, then so be it. I want to remind you that this podcast, this Substack account, The Learning Landscape, is viewer, reader, listener supported. I encourage you to become a paid subscriber here. I'll be talking more about what the benefits are for paid subscribers. I've been rolling out a lot of free content and trying to figure out what needs to be offered to paid subscribers. And so you'll hear me talk about that a little bit more as I get clearer about it. But for now, most things that are coming out on the Substack are accessible or free to everyone. So again, the title today is Inside the Gig Economy, Hubs of Learning and Professional Development. Gig platforms occupy an important space in the emerging economy and, for our purposes on the Substack, in the broader learning landscape. A gig platform is a digital application that connects individuals or businesses seeking short-term or on-demand services or gigs with independent contractors or freelancers willing to perform those services. These apps are the backbone of the quote-unquote gig economy, which emphasizes flexible work arrangements rather than traditional full-time employment. A gig app matches a service provider or a gig worker with a client for a specific task or project that is typically short-term or temporary. Clients can quickly access a pool of talent for various needs, from ride sharing and food delivery to specialized freelance services. The app acts as a middleman or middle person, streamlining the process of finding work, accepting tasks, communicating and often processing payments. Increasingly, gig platforms are hosting their own learning centers, and this is the part we're interested in here, in hosting their own learning centers inside the platform apps or sites. These learning centers are part of the service offered to job seekers. Helping job seekers learn and grow is part of their user experience on the platforms. If the users or the job seeker is not having predictable success on the platform, they will not use the platform to find work. So a useful training infrastructure must help make the outcomes at least seem more predictable for job seekers. The kind of training gig platforms offer differs from platform to platform, depending on the app and the kind of work supported by the platform. However, it is possible to get significant professional development inside gig apps alone. Even basic instructions on how to use a particular app provide valuable insights about how to navigate administrative systems to get and fulfill contracts. The learning centers or learning hubs inside gig platforms help develop skills workers can use inside a particular platform, inside like platforms, and in the broader world. Gig platforms help develop job seeker skills in several different ways. So one way is onboarding and platform-specific training. So it teaches gig workers how to use the platform. Now, this is foundational training that covers how workers can and should accept gigs, how they can navigate the app, how to communicate with clients and customers, and how to manage their profiles. Many of these apps cover how payments and work, or they state that payments for work and other transactions. Let me start again. This training covers how payments and work for other transactions are processed by the app. So that basic information, again, how payments for work and other transactions are processed by the app. So how the app works in terms of processing. Okay, so also under onboarding and platform-specific training, there's safety and compliance. For specific industries such as ride sharing or delivery, safety and compliance includes or can include road safety, food handling, and guidelines for interacting with customers. So think about Lyft. Brand guidelines and procedures. So platforms host tutorials and quizzes on platform standards and policies. These platforms typically have guidelines about keeping all electronic transactions that happen between the worker and the client on the platform. So see Upwork's policies about this. And Upwork and Lyft, these are examples of these gig platforms. And these are all under onboarding. And so it's really, this is not written in the post from yesterday. I'm going to add this. It's easy to miss the level of professional development that is being provided, training and professional development that's being provided inside the gig apps, because it just seems like instructions about how to use the app. But I'm saying that instructions about how to use the app is a form of professional development. There's a whole other conversation about exploiting workers and fair wages. That's a different conversation. For this Substack, we're talking about how we're mapping out the learning landscape. And so we're trying to document all the places where learning is happening on a regular basis, where learning is structured, where learning is welcomed. And so we can't take these seemingly small things for granted. Okay, so the second thing is job-specific development. So these apps teach some technical skills, or they, even if they don't teach technical skills on the app, apps like Upwork will endorse training opportunities that occur outside of the app. And then I want to say, depending upon the kind of work that you're looking for, so I think about like scholarship and other specialized skill, in this current generation of gig apps and gig platforms, most of them operate, the ones that I have encountered, operate on the assumption that training for activities such as research design should be gained outside the platform. So look at apps such as Collabtree. This mode of operation shows that traditional education still holds high value, even inside the gig platform subscape. Okay, so essential skills and business acumen. So inside the app, you're learning things about customer service, which is essential for most gig roles. And this type of training often covers effective communication, conflict resolution, and understanding customer expectations. Then under essential skills, time management and organization. Gig workers often manage multiple clients and deadlines, and so there's guidance on managing multiple projects, which is crucial for efficiency and for helping avoid burnout. Then the apps also teach financial literacy and responsibility. So given the independent nature of gig work, there's training on budgeting, invoicing, cash flow management, and understanding taxation rules. But also with the gig apps being very clear that they're not responsible for your taxes. They're responsible for reporting your income or documenting your income, but not reporting your taxes. Okay, and then also under this heading, personal branding and profile building. So the platforms have to, it's in their best interest to support you with this. So they help gig workers create compelling profiles and market their skills to attract more work. Again, it's tied in with the success of the app. Then there's negotiation skills. For freelancers who set their own rates, platforms offer guidance to help workers command higher pay and secure better projects. Then there's problem solving and adaptability. Platforms guide workers on how to handle expectations, unexpected situations, and adjust to changing demands in a dynamic environment. They may even offer conflict resolution services. So, and then the next one, career advancement and long-term growth. So, skill verification and certification. Platforms may offer or integrate with services So platforms may offer or integrate with services that provide recognized certifications, which enhances a gig worker's credibility and marketability. A scan of gig sites shows how platforms are increasingly gamifying the hiring experience with badges, leaderboards, etc. So you can look at apps such as Fiverr. Learning pathways. As platforms are evolving, they are offering courses or modules that guide gig workers through developing skills for higher paying or more complex gigs. So you can see apps such as Appen or Appen, it's APPEN. Then mentorship and peer learning. So some platforms foster communities or offer opportunities for gig workers to connect with experienced professionals for guidance and knowledge sharing. So you can see Prospa's podcast, and that's PROSPA. And then finally, insights into in-demand skills. Platforms provide data on what skills are currently highly sought after. This helps workers identify areas for upskilling, and you can see centers such as Contently.U, and that's CONTENTLYU. Delivery methods for training. Gig platforms have to demonstrate they can deliver job opportunities quickly. Any training or professional development experiences they offer must be essential to the job procurement and execution process and must have learning cycles that are shorter than in traditional educational environments, maybe even shorter than in industry training. Unlike a traditional temp and staffing agencies, the gig worker is typically responsible for brokering their own opportunities. They are actively seeking and securing jobs for themselves. It is important to note, however, there are increasing numbers of hybrid models of gig platform staffing agencies. This hybridization is supported by AI and other digital technologies. Inside gig platforms that do not offer support staff or people seeking work, the app must offer professional development that makes up for the absence of job scouting services by a staffing agency, and that gets workers to earning money as quickly as they would with a staffing agent. Let me repeat that sentence. Inside gig platforms that do not offer support staff for people seeking work, the app must offer professional development that makes up for the absence of job scouting services by a staffing agency, and that gets workers to earning money as quickly as they would with a staffing agent. Still messed up the word agent. I meant staffing agent and not agency, but I'll move on. Various forms of micro-learning fills this gap. This means the training is broken down into short, digestible pieces that are easy to consume on the go. The learner can learn a little bit at a time, whenever they have a few minutes. Micro-learning is useful for gig workers who might have unpredictable schedules and who cannot commit to long formal training sessions. So part of the learning landscape. The learning hubs inside gig platforms are part of the learning landscape that we talk about here on Substack. The training and development they offer has to be nimble and right to the point. There may be space inside these learning hubs for you to teach and learn. I encourage you to look a little deeper into educational processes inside gig platforms. And just a note, that's the end of the post, and here's an additional note. This post is not to endorse any one gig platform. The purpose is to educate about the learning experiences within the platforms. And again, this is Dr. Kimberly Douglas. I'm the chief contributor of this Substack, The Learning Landscape, where we are mapping 21st century learner. This is a reader-supported publication. So in order to receive all of the benefits of being subscribed to this Substack, please become a paid subscriber. If you do not want to if you don't want to be obligated monthly, you can go in and enroll yourself as a founder. The founding membership is $80, but you can, it's set up where you can adjust that at whatever amount you want to be a founding member at. It would still treat you as a paid subscriber. So if it's less than $80 or more than $80, you can still establish yourself as a founding member, even though the Substack has been in operation for a couple of years now. But, you have that option. Okay. Share out this Restack. Restack, comment. Let me know what you think. And we will have more for you this week on the gig economy. Take care. Goodbye.